I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial management program designed for the advancement of Black wealth. I'm so excited that you all are buying the book. It is the best-selling AfroEconomics book. It is a J.D. Bryan Times bestseller. Its own category. It is the best-selling financial book that includes Adinkra symbols straight out of West Africa, right? Yes, indeed. So we are really excited that you are buying the book and hopefully making the 10 principles of AfroEconomics a daily part of your financial life, because we have to make sure that we bring home Principle 9, determination. The 9th principle of AfroEconomics is determination, because this discussion is about fight the power. How do we make the Trump administration work for us? Now, of course, you all that know me and know me well know that from day one, I don't like politics, but politics impacts us financially. So I have to stay all up on it. So it is my job to make sure that you benefit as your financial advisor or financial enthusiast, one who loves you dearly and wants you to be extremely wealthy and happy and at peace. I am here to encourage you to take full advantage of whatever and whoever is in the White House and make sure that we strategically find out how we can make sure that we financially benefit as an individual, as your family, as a community of Black financially empowered people. We need to make sure that we are constantly staying focused on they have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to ourselves. They have, these politicians that we're voting in to represent us have a responsibility to make sure that the decisions that they make include benefiting us. But if we close our eyes, if we don't use our imagination and make the best out of a bad situation, then we can lose out on a lot. Because it's not like someone is going to, other than me, so that's what I'm doing. I am actually coming over to you and saying you should take advantage of the opportunities that are there. But it is not going to happen that often. But the point of me servicing you as a member of AfroEconomics is for us to strategically move through a political environment that maybe we're unhappy about. And people, according to research, when people vote for someone and the person that they voted for doesn't win, now this has been researched, the person is more likely to make bad financial decisions because they're upset because their candidate did not win. So they become insecure and afraid. So if that were the case, then you're talking about a lot of people, the majority of Black people, who must be very upset. And even financially, like, you have to think about, how is my disappointment? If that's not your candidate, because according to these polls, they said that most Black people did not vote for Trump. So if that is true, because they also said that, that he wasn't going to win, right? But if that is true, if that's the case, then there's a whole bunch of very upset people that look like us, that are members of AfroEconomics. Like, they're just upset. How is that impacting you financially? And that's for you to really think about. Is it slowing you down? Have you made some decisions like, I don't trust this person, so I'm just going to get completely out of the stock market? Are you making moves like that? Then we have to be careful, because unfortunately, we live in a society that will benefit from your fear. There are strategic businesses in place to make sure that if you're terrified, they got something for you. So they go, don't do that. You better do this because, this political environment, and they'll scare you. And so many people make decisions based on fear. That is not of God, and that is not a sound. I want to encourage you to make sound financial decisions based on your specific financial goals, based on, historical performance, which is no guarantee of future results. We know that, but but on sound research and, and making sure that you're being very careful, but not on, this is because that person's, I'm just saying hypothetically, if that's happening, you have to be very careful to not make your long-term financial decisions based on fear or anger or disappointment. Don't get caught up. So let's just think about some things. And I was listening to, it says, I've got to use my imagination, was released in 1973. Oh, yes. Go on, Gladys. Thank you, Reverend Bozeman. It said 1973. I did say the 70s, 70-something. That's indeed. I'm not even going to tell you. Woo, that was a while ago, but I was alive. Yes, I was. So I'm telling you everything that. But I was alive. Yes, so I probably wasn't saying the words to the song, but I was alive. But you never know. But we have to use our imagination, our creativity, our intellect in order to make the best out of what you may be seeing as a bad situation. I have seen, and you can just watch us in discussions about the politics and not any of it really be relevant to financial opportunities that we may be missing. It's about stuff that really does not impact us at all. Even to the point when I said some key things that I want to make sure that we discuss was, like business, investments, entrepreneurship, taxation, all of it. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about the fact that our unemployment rate is so much lower? It's still, twice the national average, unfortunately, but it is, dramatically lower. I mean, we have Black unemployment was looking at, in some studies, it was over 20%. I mean, that is huge now. So we've got a more positive environment right now, and no, stop what you're thinking right now. I feel your vibe. No, don't give him the credit for it. I'm not giving him the credit for it. Don't get caught up in that distraction. All I'm saying is that businesses are hiring again. Let's not even get involved in the why they are. They just are. How are we going to benefit from that? Get the job, get the raise, switch your job, update your resume, do whatever you have to do specifically for yourself to benefit from this positive corporate environment. That's all I'm saying. Now, I was listening, believe it or not. Yep, I was listening to a sermon, right? And it was a lady who was talking about, the benefits of YouTube are just amazing. So, it was like 2 Kings, and it was a story about a lady whose husband had died, and her husband died and they owed money. And this is a biblical story. Yep. And then it applies to today. Yeah. People, they had debt back then. So this lady, her husband owed money, but the debtors back then would make your kids work. So what I thought about when I heard this was like that she said to her leader, in the situation, her spiritual leader in the story, and Reverend Bozeman can correct me as I go through, but I want to really bring home, and that the spiritual leader said, what do you have? what can you do with what you have? And she was like, I don't really have nothing. And then he said, no, what do you have? Now, she's in a really bad situation. Now, remind you, her husband has died, and they're going to come and get her 2 sons and make them slaves to pay off the debt that the husband can't pay back because he died. Now, so the spiritual leader says, so what are you going to do to make this better? And then she says, well, she said, well, I don't have anything. And then she says, well, you know, I have this oil. So she has the oil, and he says, well, what you need is to get more tubes to put the oil in and then sell the oil. And then, so she did it. And what happened was he said, go and get the little tubes or valves or whatever to put the oil in. And then as long as she had valves to pour oil in, she only had one, but every time she would get somebody to give her something to put the oil in, it would fill it up. 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 But she ran out of, and she had her sons like going around trying to find the valve. They ran out of valves to put the oil in. And that is the only reason that she ran out. And he said, now you sell these, you take the money, you pay off all your debts, and then you can enjoy the rest and live, and you get to keep your sons, and you do. But you have to first, when you get this back, you have to pay off those debts. Now, look, there's so many people, like, they go, I'm going to take some, and they'll get their money and they'll do the wrong thing. But I say that is that she addressed this horrible situation by saying, really, there's nothing else I can do. He's dead. Well, what can I do to save my sons so that I can keep my sons so that they can help me, you know, continue to build? Now, first of all, what? She became an entrepreneur. She got everybody involved in it. She, you know, her husband was gone. It became a family business with her sons. They became involved. They got to see how that you can make money on your own, how you can build together. We can help each other, you know. So I'm saying this to say that even though you may feel that you're in a horrible situation politically, we have to use it as an opportunity to build together as a community, as a family, to express our common interests, to see what we can build, look at it as an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. If you don't like your job, the business environment is good. We have an environment now that's trying to build up this particular country. They're not trying to outsource as much overseas. So maybe you can build, Reverend Moses says 2 Kings chapter 4. You know the story. That's right. Oh my goodness. But she was making the best, wasn't she, Reverend Bozeman? She was making the best out of a really, really bad situation. And that's what I want us to do. That's what I have to do. That's what we have to do as an entrepreneur. Those of you who know my story, though, I can tell you stuff that'll make you cry, and then I'll look at you and laugh at you crying about my story. No. But we all have stories. But what we did, the reason we're still standing, the reason that we're strong about it, the reason we can laugh about it now is because we used that bad situation. We built our businesses. We did what we had to do. You continued to work well. You became a better employee. Whatever you did, you made the most. You sold, and what? You took advantage of taking care of your responsibilities. You took care of your responsibilities. So what are my key points? What I want us to do in taking advantage of making the Trump administration work for us is we have to evaluate our current financial situations and focus on the things that we can change and accept the things that we just can't. And accept that that's not gonna change. Obama's not coming back. You know, he's not coming back. It's not gonna happen. So, you know, and I don't even think that we really need to worry about if he's gonna get impeached or not. It's not gonna change. It actually could possibly even hurt you if you're focused enough on what we're doing, because we're doing so well. I don't really want you to be distracted with an impeachment trial for him. I want you to be 8 o'clock. I don't want you to be watching him. 8 o'clock, I want you with me. I want you with me. So that could be a distraction even. For those of you trying to get people to come to the mall and buy your clothes or stuff like that. So something horrible happening to him doesn't mean that it has to be something good that will happen for us. It just doesn't work like that. So, and then our second point is, what resources do you have that you can use to change your current situation? Like she had the oil. She went out and borrowed some valves and stuff from family and friends and things. She had, what do you have right now that you need to be utilizing in this situation of strong business economy, investment opportunities? Lenders are throwing away and giving out money again, so we have to be very careful with that. But if you do borrow, like she borrowed valves, make sure that you're borrowing in a situation that's advantageous to you, like borrowing by partnering with people that you trust, not going out there, going into debt with these strangers. So also a third point is to stop ignoring what you have. Stretch out what you have. You'd be amazed at how much that God can do with what we have and making the most of it. I think about that all the time. Like I've been working on, I got a writer to help me transcribe my webinars, because I have all of these videos that I've been doing over the years, but I don't have them written up. So that's a resource that I'm not fully taking advantage of. And what we're going to do is take that write-up of the webinars and make it available to members only, so that we'll have an empowerment pad for the members. You see what I'm saying? That's taking advantage of what you got, you know what I mean, and using that resource again. So don't ignore what you have and stretch that asset out. Be in position to receive all the blessings that we're supposed to receive. A fourth point is decide what you are not going to do. I advise that you decide that no matter how low credit card interest rates go, you do not get in credit card debt. Credit cards are for emergency use, to have a credit line available, but they are not for us to accumulate balances. All right? Let's put our foot down on that. What I'm not going to do is make the same mistakes that I did before. That's what we're not going to do, right? I am not going to go out there and buy and loan and get stuff that's going to require that I have a payment. If you have the money, you do it. Like Richard Overton said, there's this man, he's 112 years old, and he was talking about like what worked for him in his life. He never owed anybody. Built his house from the ground up, still lives in the same house, built it in 1940. Isn't that something? It's a black man, the oldest living World War II veteran. And he has a documentary, you should look it up, Richard Overton. I mean, the man talks about, just a financial empowerment right there. He said, he didn't get a loan for it. He built it. And it's hard now because they won't even, allow you to just buy some land and start building slowly. The county and the state and everybody gets involved and this and that. But you can save on your own and save up and save up and save up until you have that lump sum. That's what we can do. So you got to decide what you're not going to do with times like this. There's this book called Peaks and Valleys. And if you are in a valley, when we're in the valley, because I have been in the valley. I don't know if y'all been down there with me, but I have been in the valley, like the lady in 2 Kings chapter 4, and she talks about, her husband's dead and they're coming to get my kids. That's pretty darn serious. She's in the valley. So when you get back on top, that's why the spiritual leader told her, well, now you're on top. Pay your debts and live off the rest, Get it together. Pay the debts. Give everybody back their vow. Give them the money back. Buy some vows for yourself so you can have something else to sell some more later. Do but take care of your debts. What people do, get the money. They're on top. Business opportunities right now are good. You go out there, get that job, pay off all your debts. Anything you don't like about him, use that energy to get in there, get that job, keep your hoopty, do what you got to do, pay off all your debt. You owe the government, pay them back. You owe school loans, pay them off. You got to want to go to school, you can't figure out, avoid going into debt. These simple stuff, avoid it. So then, okay, I said, what do you want to decide what you're not going to do? I said, is that the answer? And then no. Do you have to do anything? Do you have to do everything that's available to you? No. Remember that. Just because you can does not mean that you have to do it. Be conscious of that. And then the point is discover assets that create income. So if you're going to go into debt, she was borrowing vows from people, a neighbor, a cousin, everything. You're going to go into debt. You're going to get this stuff. Well, she was doing that. She said, well, I'm going to owe them, but I'm going to be able to sell the oil because I had something to put it into it. So I'm only borrowing from them in order to create something that I can create income from. So you're going to borrow, don't borrow because somebody's going to flex. You're going to borrow, $200,000. So get a truck. Get something that's going to create income for you. Now, a $200,000 Maserati, unless you're just like, I don't know, a race car driver, so you can turn it into a race car, you better really know how to race. But you have to be careful how you spend, and especially when you're going into debt. How is it going to create income for you? If it's not going to create income, then minimize the debt exposure. Minimize it. So what do you need to accept? What do you need to, it says, God grant me the ability to know, what I need to accept and, and what I can't change, and the serenity prayer, and I'm messing up. And then God grants you the ability to know the difference between what you can change and what you can't, and accept what you need to accept. This is where it is right now, y'all. This is what it is. Reverend Bose, you know about peaks and valleys too? Yes, indeed. Oh, Spencer Johnson. I think I said the Making Good and Bad Times Work for You by Spencer Johnson. You are good. I got to keep you on that game show where you have somebody on standby. Yes, indeed. At least, yes. Thank you. You're a blessing. So definitely make sure that you are, you realize what situation you're in and what you need to accept about it so that you can make the proper steps of how I'm going to get out of it, and not just sit there in a perpetual, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. He or she shouldn't be there. This is disgusting. I can't see it. I can't stand it. It is what it is. Move on. You don't even have to watch the news. Just make sure that you stay on top of your financial situation. And then we must be creative to maximize this experience, right? We've got to be creative to maximize any situation, especially if you view it as a bad situation. How are you going to be creative to make it work for you? Like a dear friend of mine said today, who was explaining that that he felt that his family had been delayed, about a situation, and they found out that once they got on the road, they weren't delayed. They weren't delayed in a wrong way. They were actually blessed because there was an accident about 30 seconds, before that had just happened. So if they had not been slightly delayed on what had seemed like an inconvenience, if that had not happened, then maybe they would have been in the middle of that accident. And think about how many times you may not have really appreciated that in life. Well, whatever hell you feel like you're going through right now, that you need to make sure that you maximize that situation. I remember the Great Recession. Here I am, single parent, sister, owning an investment firm, and we're going through the biggest financial crisis in America. And I got through. And I remember saying to myself, hey, I'm just use this as a time to pay off my debts. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna use this as a time to get lean and mean, you know? And I mean, I thank God that I'm debt free, you know, but that doesn't matter how good this stock market gets. JB Bryan is not excited about any opportunity to owe anybody anything, because I've been in that valley and I don't want it. I don't want it. But you know, so you know, they say that somebody, like, their situation has to be so bad. Sometimes people are not going to change until the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of changing. So they have to, like, the change has to represent comfort because it's just so darn bad, you know. But we have to realize that no matter how bad, you know, this situation, we got to get creative about, how do I make this benefit me? How do I make this use it? Like, I thought, and I hope still, that this will be a great opportunity for us to pull together as a people and realize the importance of supporting one another and having one voice and having a united voice and having the strength to say Black wealth matters, Black lives matter, that Black money matters, you know, that our finding AfroEconomics is important. Yes, there is an impact of financial discrimination over the years. Yes, there is and was a financial impact of us not getting 40 acres and a mule and our ancestors not being able to inherit that. You know, that there is, like, let's use this as an opportunity to get a better understanding of our Black American experience. Indeed. And so God has a gift in every situation. Even if it looks bad, even if it looks bad, there is a gift. Indeed, it is. There is a gift. We just need to receive it as a group and receive it as individuals. And then I also have never say if, or never say could have, or never say would have, just accept. What can we gain during this time, right? What can you gain? What can you gain? And then what should we be doing? And then I have on these key points about what should we be doing, you know, from business. And it kind of opened with that. And I jumped right on it. But what, from a business perspective, if you work in a business, you know, how is your business being impacted? How is your business benefiting from these corporate tax cuts that you work for? Or if you have your own business, what have you set up your tax strategies? Do you know how this can help you? Have you evaluated your corporate structure and the different taxation of different corporate entities, and looking into that as a business owner or as a person working for a business? Look at that. What is the benefit of America First strategy? How can that help you as a Black person trying to build wealth? You know, what can we benefit? How can we benefit? And I think there's a lot of benefit, but we have to get our community political leaders to get involved in making sure that our communities are getting the proper training, so that when they say, let's stop putting all these all of the training overseas, let's train some people here, make sure that your community is included on that list, right? And then pay off your debts while you are in a strong employment environment. Let's pay off the debts. See, because there's going to be a push, and you can see the commercials, and you can see the loans, you're going to see the lenders, and you're going to get stuff in the mail. Everybody knows, they know everybody's back at work. People are working, everybody's working. What are you going to do? You're going to pay off your debt. You're not going to fall victim of that same thing again. Don't do it. You're going to, don't get comfortable. I'm telling you to accept, but I'm telling you, most importantly, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable and say, oh, everything is great. And, you know, everybody's, no, what are you going to do? What is your situation? And we need to talk about your specific situation on what you can do specifically for you and your family in order to take advantage of what's going on in the corporate environment right now, or in America right now, or in your community right now. And then another point I would have is to be a wise investor. I talked to you about buying assets. If you're investing, buy things that create income. Be a wise investor. Realize the push for residential real estate is not an investment. And a lot of these government loans are going to get you if you try to use those government loans to buy rental property. Don't try to be slick. They're waiting for you to do it. They're going to, wait for you to do it. They'll pull the loan and they'll get you. Those are for residential properties. They are not for you to make investments. Investments in real estate, you have to put more money down, and they're not going to be connected to a government residential loan property. So be honest. And if you get a government loan for a residential property to live in, make sure you live in it. And then secure your future. Consider your legacy. Look at things. Take advantage of reducing your financial stress, increasing your health, making sure that if there have been things that you've been stressing about and they've been hurting you from a physical and a medical perspective, and even mentally, because you've been stressing out about these things, fixing them will improve your health and hopefully put you in a situation. If there's people that are depending on you to pay your bills, make sure you're healthy so that you can get the proper life insurance. So if you're going into debt together, or you have debt together, that debt can be paid off if one of you passes away, and you're going to pass away, but earlier than expected, before that loan is paid off. You need to have some insurance that will pay that loan off. And that's real. But we got to be healthy, because it's going to cost you a lot for that insurance if you don't have healthy habits and you're not a healthy person. It gets expensive. So, and go through the principles of AfroEconomics daily. Don't get caught up in the horror stories of what's going on in Washington. Make sure you go through all of the principles. The fifth principle is integrity, of just keeping a positive attitude, placing God at the center of your financial decisions, and realizing that you don't have to impress anyone. God is happy with you just like you are, taking care of your family, making wise financial decisions, building wealth, and he promises us that we can have wealth and live abundantly and have more than we ever imagined. Think about the story that I was talking about, where the lady, the only reason that she ran out of oil is because they couldn't find more valves to put it in. There's another section that Reverend Bozeman will help me, where it says you're going to be blessed so much that you won't even have room to fit it in the storehouse or something. It's just you're going to have, we have to position yourself to get everything that we're supposed to have. God's not going to give us anything that we can't handle. That's pretty much the point. But if we're distracted with the craziness of this world that has nothing to do with all that God has planned for you to do, you should be focused on what you're supposed to provide, what products you're supposed to be getting together, what service and what God expects from you. You got to have that faith to just stay positive about it and just keep out there and just get it done. And you ain't perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. He doesn't expect you to be perfect. All he expects us is to just have good intention, keep a positive attitude, and then just cut the zero out. Take the lemons and make lemonade. You got to keep on keeping on, right? Keep on keeping on. Press down. That's right. Press down, shaking together, and running over. Oh, man. Yes, indeed. Y'all are so positive. This is great. Well, I'm excited. We're excited. I hope y'all are excited as I am. Do you have any questions before you go? And then I also have be enthusiastic. You can't take time off from your enthusiasm, right? That you have to be enthusiastic about your dream. What are your dreams? What are your goals? what can you do today, regardless of who's in the White House, no matter how horrible, whatever it is that's making you sick, what can you do today to make sure that your financial goals are accomplished? And if you need help, that's the point of doing the membership. So you can say, this is what I'm trying to do. What can we do? And then a lot of times it's just getting you set up. Let's get that financial planning stuff together so that we can have a baseline, you know, and we can build from there. We got to know where we are. We got to accept where we are. We got to take full benefit of whatever is going on right now, be it good or bad. We got to make sure that we accept it and we look at and we understand it clearly, right? I said, make lemonade and sell it. Yes, indeed. Make that lemonade and sell it. Make it pay for you. Well, God bless y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. We're going to enjoy the summer. I'm going to press on through it. And we're going to keep making that lemonade. Take care. If you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to email me at jb@jbbryan.com. Check out the membership, get the book, and then make sure that you get it, subscribe. And once you register for an event, you'll be invited to all of the other events. Don't forget the Black Business Summit in New York in September. Get registered for that. And it's absolutely free for members. We're excited. It's going to be wonderful. Looks like it's going to be so big, I'm going to have to move it up the street to the Times Square Renaissance. But that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing because our office is right there in Times Square as well. I love y'all. God bless. I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics. And indeed, if you need to set up an appointment, to make sure you do, call 1-844-JB-Bryan, 1-844-522-7926, or go to the website and click chat now. And we can set up that appointment. Yes, indeed. 7P's Consulting, LLC. I'm here for you. Take care, y'all.